Hello and welcome to my quick ElvUI tutorial. I'm going to go over most of the basics for customizing your UI. I'll give a link in the description of where you can get it, and I'm going to show from the beginning what it will look like when you first start off and what you need to do, and I will try my best to go through each little section to help explain anything about customizing your unit frames and your action bars. As you can see here, I got two separate sides for chat, and I got all my action bars set up. Of course, I use a gaming pad. I got my mouse, so these are kind of set up for my keybinds. You can have mouse overs, like reputation. Obviously, I don't have experience. It actually sits right in between those. And, just like your targeting and stuff like that. Okay, before we hop over to this character, I want to show you real quick how to get ElvUI. You want to either go to Google or use this link that I will put in the description, this one right here. If you go to Google, just type in ElvUI, and you could actually go directly to downloading it. Some people may just want to go ahead and click on the link, in which case it will bring you to this web page, or this page right here, in which case you just go to UIs, go down to ElvUI, and slide over to download. From here, it's got all your latest versions. Just click ElvUI, click the download. It will be in a zip format. You can use WinRAR, 7-zip, WinZip, all those different ones. Anything that can extract a zip file is what you want to use. And once you have that, and once you download it, what you want to do is you want to go to your add-ons folder for WoW. For PC users, it would be your CD drive, wherever you have WoW installed, your program files, World of Warcraft, interface, and then add-ons. And then you just want to take everything that's in that folder and extract it into your add-ons folder. And that's all you have to do at that point. So let's hop over to a new character I just created on a random server, just to show you what you will see when you log into game after putting ElvUI in your add-ons folder. Okay, coming in on a brand new character, you're going to see something remotely close to this, minus the extra deals here. I had recorded a section, but for some reason it didn't work right, so I'm redoing this real quick. So what you're going to do, you're going to start off by clicking continue. This is your basic installation of ElvUI. The first thing you want to do is you want to set up your CVARs. This is what's going to help it's for your default WoW options. It's going to help set it up to where ElvUI and WoW, I guess you could say, sync together pretty well. So you're going to click that once and then click continue. Next is going to be setting up the chat. Pretty much it'll help with your chat down here. When you click set up chat, what it will do is it will give you this little window right here, or this little chat window over here for the loot and trade. This will have the trade chat sitting in it, as well as tell you your loot drops, money gain. If I remember right, it does have reputation and all that stuff in it as well. And at the same time, you can customize it. Me personally, I take out trade chat all the time. I don't really pay too much attention to trade chat. I care more about what's dropping and what gold I'm earning and reputation if I'm rep farming and all that stuff. So once you set up your chat, click continue. Next is going to be for your unit frame, your unit frame, your targeting frame, and your focus target frame. As you can see right now, they are all kind of a darkish gray color. This is your classic. Next is going to be dark, which turns them all black. The next one, which is my favorite, is class. And this will actually, if I was targeting, like, let's say, that's a warrior, that's not going to count. There we go. You get a monk in the distance. If I target him, it's going to tell me that that's a monk. As well as, see, everybody likes making warriors. There we go. And there's a mage off in the distance. And it's going to change the class color to the mage. And it's going to be dimmed out because obviously they're way over there, way out of my range, which is also very helpful for raids to let you know you're out of range of somebody, or even in PvP to let you know that the person you're targeting is not quite close enough yet. So like I said, class is my favorite, but this is based on whatever you prefer. Next up, you're going to have your resolution. As it says right here, my current resolution is 1680 by 1050. So that's considered high resolution. So they recommend that I would do high resolution. So if I click high resolution, this is what it would look like. If you click low resolution, it would look like this. Now, me personally, I always end up using low resolution even though I am in high resolution, because I like to scale down my window a lot, especially if I'm just doing AFK stuff like on the auction house or anything like that. So that way then any of my windows, they don't really get messed up when I decrease my resolution. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one, and once you pick out which resolution you want, click continue. Next up is going to be how your frames are laid out, your unit frames and your action bars, depending on what type of class you want to play, or spec. If you were a caster DPS, it would raise it up. Physical DPS is going to drop it back down. Healers is going to raise it up. And if you had the click add-on, then you can set this up to be able to just click almost like Healbot and all that stuff to cast your spells. And then of course you have your tank. I'm a physical DPS, so I will go ahead and just click that and click continue. Next up is going to be the aura bars and icons. Icons are your basic, what you see in WoW with the little icons above your unit frame. And something like Rejuvenate, it's just going to pop it up there and you'll have your countdown and stuff like that. It's just giving you a little icon. The aura bars and icons will give you a small icon, and it will say out the name, and it will give you a bar that stretches across the top of your deal or your unit frame. And what that will do is that will actually, instead of you having your basic cooldown, and I don't have anything that I can really show for that, instead of your basic numbers just telling you that it's counting down, it will actually have a small little bar that it slowly goes down until it's all gone. Then it will disappear, and the aura bars will drop down, and it will continue doing that. Something like Rejuvenates and stuff like that are perfect for that, especially if you're like me, a healer. Like on my druid, if I'm doing my Rejuvenates, I want to make sure that I have 2 Rejuvenates up on my target, depending on who they are. And so I will see like the Rejuvenation, and then I'll see the Germinate Rejuvenation one. So I will see both of them and see them counting down, and that will actually help me, especially if I'm on a tank, to make sure to refresh that before it runs out. So I'm going to click aura bars and icons, and you click continue. Once that's done, you're finished. And when you're finished, it will quickly reload your UI real quick. And this is what you will come up with. So we're going to click hide out of that. And this will be your basic plain Jane look of everything that's going on. And there's a stance bar way up there for some reason. You got your mini map. You start off with your first 2 action bars and a third one here on the side. Some chat frames. And all this stuff down here at the bottom is completely customizable to anything you want. It's just like little information, like you got your FPS and all that, your time. You can have your money displaying down here, your resources, etc. Okay, now getting on to customizing. There are 2 ways you can enter the ElvUI config window. First one is right up here at this little mini map. You have the little C button. If you click that, it will open up your ElvUI config. The second way is if you do /EC, it will bring up the config this way. I know on one profile I made, I ended up making that button disappear, so I've had to do it through chat a few times. So this is your config window. There's a lot of stuff here, but don't let it intimidate you. It is actually just to help you customize. So to start with, one of my favorite things I like to do to start with is my toggle anchor. Toggle anchors allows you to move your stuff around. Similar to bartender or move anything, it's going to allow you to move stuff around. What I'm going to start with, I'm going to move these out of the way so that we can do our action bars. Now you got bar number 4, your pet bar sitting over here, class bar, etc. So coming into action bars, obviously you only have 1, 2, you only have 3 equipped right now, but you're going to want, let's say you want more. Well, if you come in here, because there's a total of 6 bars, as you can see, bar 3 is not enabled. Well, click enable and it will show up. And then you got number 4, which is active, number 5, active now, and then number 6. And I have no idea where number 6 is at, to be honest. We'll find it in a minute. Okay, so now that you have all your action bars toggled, generally what I like to do is I like to slide them off just a little bit. Let's slide my pet frame up there, target, we'll slide her there, and separate bars 1 and 2. More for easy customization at this point, and I'll leave bar 4 over there for right now. Okay, now getting started with setting up your action bars. To customize them the way you want them, it's actually pretty simple. Starting with, you can increase the button size if you want. So we're at 32 right now. Let's say I want really big buttons for my main bar. Well, there you go. And then I could just move it around and set it right here at the bottom if I wanted to. Or you can have them extremely small, etc. Put that back at 32. There we go. Another awesome thing that I like about this is you can tell ElvUI how many buttons you want per row. Right now this is set for 12 buttons with 12 buttons per row. So it's only going to have 1 row of 12 buttons. Let's say, let's mirror my TARDIS, my Razer TARDIS that I use. I only use 12 of the 15 buttons for my actual keybinds, which I use for my 1, 2, 3, etc. So that would be 3 rows of 12. Oops. So on this one, it would be 4 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows of a total of 12 buttons. And there you go. This almost immediately mirrors my TARDIS. So let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and do that with bar number 2 as well. And this is going to, the way I set it up, this is my main bar, and this is for if I hold down Shift or Control, depending on what I decide I want to keybind it to. Now when you're here in the toggle anchor, you have this sticky frame steel here. What this will do, see it on these bars, yeah, it'll lock them together. It helps to keep them nice and steady with each other. It helps 2 bars work together, so to speak. Same with, let's say, the cast bar, your target cast bar. If you want it on your target frame, drop it a little bit below. And what it'll do is it'll help keep it, helps make it to where you're not free dragging it and taking forever to kind of try to sit there and get it down just right or slide it over just right. It helps make it a little easier. So there we go. There's my first basic setup. I got my first bar, my second bar. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that again. And this is not exactly where I want them, but that's where we're going to set them for this time. Bar number 3. Which one's bar number 3? This one's bar number 3. I want to set this one up to mirror my Logitech mouse with the keybinds that it has. And it's got 3 rows of 3 rows of 12 buttons, or 4 buttons. So, bar number 3, 12 buttons, 3 rows. And there you go. And we will go ahead and do that. I'll leave bar 4 here, and we'll go to bar number 5, which I believe is this one, and do the same thing. 3 with 12 buttons. And now we'll toggle the anchor, and these ones won't stick together. Oh, no, they will. If I click that button, they will. And you just have to slide it down just like that. So it will snap the 2 frames together, and then you can just drag them to line them up however you want. Lock that together, and voila! I now have my action bars mirroring my both my mouse and my gaming pad to help me, while I'm playing, remember which buttons to go for without having to look at everything. So let's go the little micro bar. Alright, so I toggled that. I want to toggle the anchor, and I want to drag it. This is how I personally do this. I like to put it right in the center, and I'm going to take the sticky frames off so that I can kind of, there we go. I want to kind of equal them out just a little bit, just like that. Lock it into place, and there you go. That's basically how you would set up your action bars. And once again, it's all based on preference. I've seen people with they'll have 1, 2, and 3 sitting on this side, and then they will change 4, 5, and 6 to be vertical like this. It's really all a matter of preference. Excuse me. The stance bar is another one. This will actually, you'll see this on warriors, DKs, pallies, holy priests, druids especially. This is for swapping around your different stances, or auras or presence. So for this warrior, slide this over so you can see it. Obviously, I'm only in battle stance, and as soon as I got protection stance, you would be able to do it from there. It would have another button drop down, and you can keybind these however you want to. If you wanted to, with just a push of a button, swap between the two. Now, speaking of keybinds, I'm going to show you real quick how to do the keybinds. In ElvUI, under just clicking on just action bars, they have keybind mode. If you click keybind mode, it pops up this little deal right here, and you can choose 2 different things. You can either choose this if you're making one main profile that you wanted to load all your characters on. You can leave this unchecked. If you wanted these keybinds to be specific depending on who you're playing or what class you're playing, you can do character specific. Character specific means it's only going to be for this person right here, and if you logged on to another tune, you're not going to see it. So all you have to do, if you hover over, it will tell you what it's currently keybound to, and you can change that. Let's say the number 1 bar I want to be 1 and 2. Well, if I hover over it with my mouse and press 2, well, now it's bound to both 1 and 2. And once again, if it's on an action bar that has nothing on it, press 1 here. So now this one will be number 1 instead of this one. This also does work with key combinations. So let's say you want Shift 1 for this spot here. And there you go. So if I was to press Shift 1, whatever action is on this button right here will count or will be activated. And if you want to clear out keybinds that you use, if you press Escape, it will completely clear it out, and that button will be bound to nothing. Discard that. That is the basic setup for your action bars and keybinds. And I'll be right back to show you how to set up your unit frames, raid frames, party frames, etc. Okay, next up, we'll do a quick little explanation of what all these others are. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, and everywhere you go, on most deals, if you're not sure what it is, like this item level threshold, it will give you a small explanation of what it is. Like item level threshold, the minimum eye level required for it to be shown. So let's say you only want the item level to show on items that are 650 or higher. It will only label those ones with a text, and the rest of them will just kind of not have one on it at all. So, let's see here. This is for your bags. You can increase the size of it however you want. And as well, this also works for your bank. For customization, I would suggest sitting next to the bank and have it open so that you can do that. You can also change where this is at. By default, it's right down here. And all you have to do is just slide the bar over, or if you're not quite there, you can just slowly, like let's say I want it to go over, let's say to 25. So we'll do minus 25. There we go. And same with your Y offset. And you can do the same thing for your bank as well. The bag bar is off by default, but if you want to see your bags, the bar that belongs to your bags, that's normally like down here by default, you can enable it. It will require a UI reload real quick, and you can make it big, change the spacing on it, and all that stuff. For sorting, this is, if I remember right, this is where it's at. Ascending to descending being starting from your basic inventory bag, not this one, but just your basic, and then going up. And then descending would be from your your bag at the end of the equipped container all the way to the back. Next up, we have buffs and debuffs. These, by default, are set up to be up here, and you can move these anywhere you want, just like this. So you see my little battle stance is just sitting right there. You pretty much put it wherever you want. You can change how big they are, how many buffs will go across before it wraps around and starts at the bottom again. I've seen a few times, especially when I was tanking, where I would have like all sorts of stuff hitting me. Oh, this one's for debuffs, but all sorts of buffs hitting me, and it would go across, and then you'd have more coming down like that, especially in raid instances and stuff like that. But this one is pretty much self-explanatory. Can't really make it test, unfortunately. But if you happen to have a debuff or anything like that, you can use that to test it out. Consolidated buffs are kind of the same as this. And then your just basic general. The font size for your cooldown, you can actually change where the counter is at, whether you want it underneath, you want it directly in the middle of it, etc. Next up, you have your chat. This is actually for if somebody was to pop a link in here, you could actually use that. Like I said, all this is pretty self-explanatory. You can use it to help block spams, as well as you can set it up to do timestamps. Alerts are another thing. The one I like to use the most is, I don't use that one though. We'll set it for that one for right now. I like to use the default one for my name, so if somebody says my name in chat, whether guild chat or party or anything like that, it will play a sound.
Stop running, you fat slime ball!
Kind of like that. That's just one I randomly picked. As well as, you have your whispers, which basic whisper alert type deal. You can set it to not put on an alert while you're in combat, so it doesn't distract you. Personally, I just leave that off. And if you highlight in here, it gives you a few examples of other keywords you can set up in here. Next would be these panels right here. You can adjust the height of them, the width of them. You can set up where the tabs go. You can set up its own little panel on there, and you can make them transparent or non-transparent, or separate them, or separate each panel to have their own. Like if you want your loot one to be more consolidated to I guess you could say, I don't know, longer or shorter or anything like that. Chat edit, below chat, show both. Left only, you can right only, show both. Above chat, below chat for edit box positions. You know, there we go for the customizing them however you want. So that's pretty much it with chat. You do have the fonts here. This is going to be for these right here. And I believe, let's make this one a little bit wider again. Use my mouse, there we go. So say I wanted Action Man. Well, there you go. Now your chat's going to look like that, and you can come right in here and click font size to increase the size of font that you want it to be at, you know, just like that. Data text I don't really use too often. I actually prefer the default more than anything else. But feel free to play around with this. You got for your panels. The panels one is going to be for the stuff down here and up on your mini map. Nameplates is going to be what you see back here. That is the Control V. If you don't know how to access your the nameplates like that, you can actually set this like, let's say for friendly NPC characters, I want to make them have white, so you can adjust coloring. So now any friendly NPC is going to be white. Same with players, enemies, etc. And you can increase the font size to however you would like. You can make the names wrap around. You can show the level, show name, have outlines, etc. Real fun to play around with, especially if you're doing like battlegrounds and stuff like that. I really like having the nameplates up. Skins I generally don't mess with too much, generally because I like the overall sharpness of the basic ElvUI, but if you would like, you can disable, like let's say you don't like the way the mailbox looks and you want the original mailbox. You can just check mark that and reload your UI real quick, and it will put it back to the Blizzard default. Tooltips is another one I don't generally use too often, more so because it tends to bug out sometimes. Like right now you can see it, just, when you hover over it, it'll display the health and level of whoever you're hovering over. But like I said, that's been, I've seen that bug out sometimes, and then all of a sudden my tooltip is just stuck there, and it's like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Next up, let's slide it over this way, you got your unit frames. Once again, these are all pretty much self-explanatory and pretty easy to understand. You can adjust your height, your width. The auras that I talked about in the beginning while setting up, you can actually fix those here as well, however you want them. You just go to this one right here for aura bars. Enemy aura bars, which would be debuffs. Any debuffs the enemy puts on you. Anchor point, I like to keep them above. Time remaining for the sort method. So if you have some that are about to go out faster than others, it's going to put them towards the bottom and leave the longer ones up towards the top. And you can increase the number of bars you have. Personally, I like to keep it at about 5 or 6. Let's see, anything else that I'm missing? No, that's pretty much it on that one. Same thing goes with targets. So if you go to target frame, you can adjust how that one and what all that one shows, as well as adjust their height and width and all that good stuff. The coloring you can change as well, but if you chose that class in the beginning, by default it's going to look like this. And then you have your target of target frame, target of target of target frame, focus target frame, pet target frame, arena frames, which I will display right here. This is what would pop up if you were in arenas. This would be the enemy team, if I remember right, and then your basic party would be over here, which would count as your arena frame. Believe that's right. And you can customize these to know whether they trinket, If you want, you can enable portraits on them, etc. Same goes with yours. For your player frame, you can enable a portrait on there, and of course it's kind of small, so make it a little bit bigger, and then make the overall height bigger, make it a little wider just for now, so you kind of see. You have two options when it comes to those portraits. You have a 3D and a 2D model. This is 3D, and if you go to 2D, it looks kind of like that, and it will change as your gear changes. It will update after a little bit with a different helmet or anything like that, which is actually pretty cool. Let's get rid of arena frames here and go to boss frames. Display the boss frames. Same thing as arena frames, only it's for when you're doing dungeons or raids or anything like that. It will, like, let's say you're doing the council or anything like that, it will pop them up right in here with the boss names, and it'll show that their health slowly goes down. Undo that. Next up, you have your party frames, and you can display that over here. Here you have all sorts of good information. Here you can have it display what they look like for their portrait. You can have the power, the health. You can, let's say for health, you can adjust the coloring on it. You can choose where you want the health to be at. Control the amount of the frequency of the updates, or frequent updates. Uses more CPU and stuff like that. But I've never had that box checked, and I've always been pretty good on seeing, it's always been pretty good on keeping up with how much health everybody's got. Let's get rid of that one. Raid frames. You got raid frames and raid 4D frames. Pretty much kind of the same thing. I found that the raid 40 is more. I've seen more in Kazakh or 40-man BGs more than anything. Everything else pretty much gets classified into the basic raid frames. Same with if you want raid pet frames. Let's display the frames. So here's your basic raid frames. This is all the pets. You can have whoever's got assist, if you want to see who's tank, bodyguards, etc. There's a lot of stuff here, but most of the customization when it comes to these bars are pretty much almost mirror image of each other each time, with little tweaks here and there depending on what you want to do. So other than unit frames, that's pretty much about it. When you first start off, and I should have said this in the beginning, you can come in here and type in, if you're first starting off, type in for new. Let's say you want to call it your main profile, or if you want to set one up specifically for your healing classes, put in healer or healing or anything like that, and you can create a whole new profile. And anytime, let's say you had a healing profile and you created it on your shaman and you get on a priest, you can go, when you're on this person, you would just click existing profiles, and of course I have a lot because I have yet to delete all of these in a very long time, and you can go down, that one's default. I personally, I do have one for my healers, and I have my main one, and so I would just click on that and like say, load up my main profile, and there you go. So everything I've done with all my other classes generally use is all going to be sitting here like that. And then of course you can delete profiles as well, or if you want to, let's say you have your main one but you just want to do some few minor tweaks but put it in a heals, you can create the new one. Let's say, let me go to, we'll go to this profile right here, one that wasn't really ever set up, and you can go in here and say copy from, and we'll go down to my heals. So what that's going to do is that's going to copy the heals profile but put it into this profile right here. Now, other than that, I believe that is about it. Once again, toggle anchors to adjust anything however you want. Don't forget about your sticky frames, and overall, just have fun and tweak with it and get it to however you want your UI to look. Thank you for watching, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Have a good one.